Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Maureen, who's come all the way from Munich, Germany to be with us with her fantastic film, Belinda. Let's take a look at the clip. Maureen, firstly, welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family, and thank you for coming all the way across the other side of the world to be here. It's
Thank
amazing.
you, Danny.
Thank you so much for Belinda. When I watched your film, I was just, as I said last night, I was just in it. I don't even think I took a breath in it because I was there in this experience that you created for us. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us the brief synopsis.
The brief synopsis is about a woman who chooses a single motherhood very late in life, well, mid to 46, 47-ish. And she journeys to Denmark to find her father, who is a well-known astrophysicist, to meet with him, and because he abandoned her when she was an infant, and she had never met him, so...
I mean, already the stakes are high, right? When you go there, the stakes are high. There's obviously, so much, feelings between both of these characters that you created. Where did the inspiration come for you in turning this idea into a story, into a film?
Well, the story came to me from a writer named Fergal O'Byrne, and it comes through a personal experience that he had with someone very close to him. And she was abandoned by her father, and over the years she had tried connecting with him, but he never showed up. And so he wrote this story, and he added the layer that the father was a well-known astrophysicist, and that this particular woman had chosen pregnancy late in life. And so part of her journey includes her wanting to find her father, to find out if there was any kind of medical issues or anything that he's ever had that might have an impact on her particular child. So she wasn't going there to pick up an old battle. That's not the point. The point is out of sheer curiosity and out of self-care to herself and her in utero infant. And so there was this, we knew the film would be really soft. We knew the film would be very quiet. And I didn't want to push anything. And so I had a couple of conversations with the actors, and I said, Joanna Hogg, who directed the Souvenir trilogy, who I love how she sets up her shots. She sets up her shots with a lot of confidence, and then she allows her actors just to kind of move in and out of the space. Mm-hmm. They know their intention, they know their relationship to each other, and it gives them so much freedom. And so, there are different styles of shooting that, of course, that we saw during the festival. But I wanted this kind of loose, harmonious, very organic feel, so that the audience had to go to the film and lean into the film rather than thrusting the film onto the audience, which is also great too. Yeah. But this was my particular experiment.
I love that you said that because I felt all those things. I felt it. I felt myself being drawn in, and very naturally, I was getting closer to the experience, and I was kind of, you left us in moments that I was so happy that you did, where some people just can pan away or they can cut to, but you left us in these moments to kind of really just allow us to feel the experience, what was going on in that particular scene. And I love it when a director does that, because it's a great thing as an audience member to feel that way too. I personally, looking into the character, there's so many essence of like courage and bravery to go on this trip, to go and meet this person that abandoned, because abandonment is a real thing. And what a great story. And I'm just curious, as a director, how, you gave them this landscape and experience. How do you work with your actors on a film like this? And also, where did you shoot? Because it looked spectacular as well.
Oh gosh. Well, I wish I could pronounce the area where we were in Denmark, but it was in this little remote corner in Denmark where it's very difficult to get a filming license. And so the Danes it's a very strong community there. And so our producer had a friend who had a summer house, and they loaned us the location for shooting. In terms of dealing with the actors, okay, so I'm a trained actor myself. I went through the conservatory at Steppenwolf. I did a program at Columbia University, several workshops, blah, blah, blah. So I understand their process, or I feel I understand their process. And so my process is, here's the scenario. This is how the shot's going to be. This is the shot. Here's the framing. And you know what you need from each other. So, action. And then I think if you trust your cast and they know you trust them, I just think that brings the best out of any actor. Maybe some actors need more guidance, like, more stillness, please, or that kind of thing. But the way the DP and I were working together, as it's like some shots are going to be static, and then with the handheld process, just trust in yourself. Don't worry about the camera. Don't worry about anything around you. The DP and I have you covered.
Yeah.
You're going to be great.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very proud of the nuanced performances in this film.
It's such a luxury to have as an actor, to kind of feel those elements that you've got a director and a DP that just allow you to flow so freely like that, because it really does, in the end of the day, it will shine up on screen, and you'll get this beautiful experience to watch with these actors going through this experience. Story is it's multi-layered. It's someone that obviously wants to have a child, so-called later part of her life, is what society says. There's the abandonment issues. There's also just not having that, that parental figure in their life, and then becoming a parent. There's so many layers to it. For you personally, like what was the elements for you about the film that interested you in wanting to direct it?
That abandonment can have a positive outcome. And so there's a scene in the bedroom where she finds a picture of herself when she was an infant, and it's buried under, other photos of when he was at the Kennedy Center in Florida, Cape Canaveral, and she realizes she was present all the time in his life, but he never did anything about it. Mm-hmm. And so she has this moment of very, very quiet grief, and I really wanted that to linger in the space, because grief can be freeing. It doesn't have to be a torturous event. Yeah. She just really had to go there, face the truth that her father was never probably a very nice person.
Yeah.
And I discussed with the actress, I said, you can let go now. So when you sit down and you grieve, you're letting go. Mm. And then from that, the result is making a consequent decision. The consequent decision is, I'm done here. I don't know if I'll ever reach out to you again, but I've accomplished something so much bigger than I came for.
Ooh, that's
And that's
stunning.
why it's a slow, kind of a soft unraveling, because otherwise it would just feel false.
Yeah, I really love that you took it to that, that it was taken to that space as well, where, it's not always going to have this, Hollywood ending, right? It's a moment in time. And, I'm curious for you personally, like, how has the experience been, obviously from this side of the world, but then obviously living over in Europe, and how film dynamics are different over there? Like, what's your experience as a director?
I'm a film nerd. I love the quote that Quentin Tarantino says, I didn't go to film school, I went to films. Yeah. And I directed theater for many, many years, so that gave me a huge skill set working with actors.
Yes.
So to answer your question, I am very much influenced by both American filmmakers and European filmmakers, and I just think you just take the best. I love Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah,
I think he's magnificent. He's very present. I love it that you picked that out. You know, you're just like, oh, okay, we really have to be in the moment with your film. And we don't spend a lot of time in the present. And so I really wanted this film to be very, very present. And I think he makes those kinds of films.
Coming from theatre, I think it just offers a dynamic of acting and performance that is really from the core, and that I feel like only you know if you're in theatre, you kind of really truly understand. And the one thing you mentioned about the presence, like as much as I feel right now present with you, I felt like you gave us such presence with the film that you gave us too. Like we were right there in the pinpoint moment experiencing it. We weren't like, and that's why I said I couldn't take my eyes off the experience. I don't think I took a breath because I was there. Is that something that you enjoy? I imagine.
I love really
right?
grounded work.
Yeah.
But I also love all kinds of storytelling too, like the really visceral. Like my next film, it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, what is your next film?
Very visceral. Oh, I've been very inspired by whatever happened to Baby Jane, because I have not seen a film of that magnitude that required women of let's just say a certain age, and a script came to me as a result of Belinda, and it's a horror story, in my opinion, because it's about a woman who's almost 70, and she loses everything. She loses her husband. She loses her best friend. She loses her community. Absolutely everything. And I read it, and I was like, this is a horror story. Your life is completely just swept out from underneath you. So but it's also going to be very visual, and a little bit American Psycho in there, and whatever happened to, not whatever happened to Eugene, Rosemary's Baby, in terms of some of the lighting and framing. So I'm super excited about it because it's completely different from what I just made. And then, as they say, passion is king. So I'm very passionate about this next thing.
Well, I'm super excited about whatever journey that you take us on to next. But this is a really fascinating story, so I'm excited. Is this going to be? Where are you shooting this one next?
I'm doing this in Denmark as well.
In Denmark? Oh my goodness, I love it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I mean, the Danish crews are just insanely, great in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I kind of have a family over there now, and I'm meeting more and more producers.
Amazing.
And I just wanted to tell that to all the filmmakers too, because they were talking so much about, where am I going to get my funding next? And I said, walk through the door, pick where you want to make your film. That's what I did. We Googled production houses in Denmark because I wanted to make my first film there. And they called us back, and I got appointments. I went through the door, and I pitched my first film for them. And I told the other filmmakers, just pick where you really want to shoot. Amazing. And you'll find people. Yeah. They'll support you.
Yeah, I love that. It's like finding your family and finding the right home for it. And I think when you found that, it's so beautiful. Just to close on, for any filmmakers out there, and you kind of given us so much advice already, but is there anything for you as a creative artist and as a human that you could kind of share with our filmmaking audience that is important to you in your day life as an artist?
Making a film is easier than you think. It really is. I've enjoyed every aspect of it. Where there's a struggle, where there's a challenge, I've loved it. So if you really, really, really love filmmaking, nothing will feel difficult.
Yeah.
It just feels like a natural part of the process. Embrace it and know that more people are supporting you than not. You will get more yeses than nos. Trust that.
Oh, thank you so
And I
much.
really mean that most sincerely. And I think we saw that from a lot of these filmmakers in this.
You really did. We're all such a complementary to each other. But no, thank you so much for Belinda. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to this next journey that you will take us on. But thank you for Maureen. I'm glad you're a filmmaker, Maureen, honestly, seriously. So thank you so much. Maureen, everybody.